Hi, everyone.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi.
Okay. So yeah, hi everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming. So yeah, what's this about? Well, the good news is nothing's changed. It's not about anything. That's the beginning and the end, really. There is no teaching. There is no message. So this isn't trying to explain anything. It's not even trying to point to anything or illuminate anything. All you could say is being suggested is that this is everything. And this meaning sitting on a Zoom call, having a conversation with friends, sitting, breathing, listening. This is all there is. So in that sense, you could say it's obvious, but it's not obvious to anyone, and because it's everything, nothing is obvious, nothing stands out from the whole, so to speak. This is the whole, this is wholeness. So of course within this there can be this sense of I am, this sense that I'm a person, I'm an individual, and that also is just what appears to happen. But of course, there is no real separation. So that's it, really. If anyone wants to comment or chat, that's absolutely fine. Just, yeah, just speak whenever. See what happens.
And 5G.
Hi.
Okay.
I was listening to Andreas Müller today. I listened to him in his talk, German talk. I, I have asked you last time about separation. When there is pain here in this body, nobody else feel it. So I thought that is separation. When I feel pain here, when nobody else can feel it, that is separation. But he explained it. I'm understanding that's not separation when I feel pain and other cannot feel it.
Oh no, of course. Yeah. Pain in the body is just pain in the body, but it's not for anyone. But pain in and of itself isn't an indication of separation, or the fact that just this body seems to feel it doesn't indicate separation. No, I mean, nothing indicates separation because there isn't any.
So I understand that everything is not separate. Pain is not separate from joy.
In what sense?
That everything is there is no separation in anything.
Yeah, of course.
Joy, pain, all is done not separate.
Yeah, absolutely.
One energy, one whole.
You could call it one energy. Yeah, you could say, I see what you're saying. You could say, yeah, it's everything appearing as pain, appearing as joy, appearing as sadness, happiness. So it's just this, yeah, and it appears as everything. So there's no separate thing called pain, no separate thing called joy, but there's also no energy that produces these things. You could say that joy is energy, happiness is energy.
The
But
same energy.
in that sense, the same, yeah, but there's not really an energy. So yeah, sort of saying it's the same energy sort of almost sounds as if there is an energy that is everything. Energy is just a word you could use for everything. Which is this, which is asking the question, hearing the answer, confusion, happiness. Yeah, it's everything.
So you said that the eye, it's for the eye. This is it for the eye also, but for the eye there is eye and this.
Yeah, you could say that it feels as if the pain is happening to someone, to me. Yeah, so that's the duality. The dreamt duality is that instead of just pain, which is how it is, there's this illusion that it's happening to someone and that it's my pain. And this just doesn't happen. It just doesn't exist. There's just pain or happiness. It doesn't have to be pain.
For example, not but for the eye, for the me, it wants joy. It don't want pain.
Oh, of course, yeah. So the me would want liberation, or what it thinks I'm speaking about, to be constant joy or constant happiness, constant positivity. But in that sense, it really doesn't matter. It's just totally normal. So it's everything. It's sadness, happiness, pain, pleasure. It's everything, just for no one. So really nothing changes. It doesn't all become positive and it doesn't all become negative. It's totally the same.
And there is no way for this eye to collapse.
Well, there is no I to collapse, so
that is the problem, that there is no one to collapse.
it's the apparent problem. The apparent problem is that the only thing that thinks there's an I is the I, of course. So it's not really a problem. There are no real problems. So the I thinks it has to die or collapse or be seen through or become liberated. But that is totally impossible because there is no one. There is no I. It's already this.
I'm listening to this message 24 hours.
Yes, well, I mean, that's sort of what the person would think, that listening to it more or listening more carefully or trying to get something out of what I'm saying or understand it more or recite it as a mantra or something, anything. The person tries to get anything out of this in the hope that one day it will just click. But there's nothing to click. So there is nothing to get, really. Nothing, nowhere to be, nothing to realize. And it's impossible. Nothing could be further realized. This is totally whole and complete.
But understanding this message conceptually can happen.
It seems to happen in that sense, in the sense of, you know, the words that are often spoken seem to be intellectually understood, but actually that's entirely empty because there is no intellectual understanding of this, because I'm not speaking about anything. So in that sense, there's just maybe formulas that are created or a subject that's created out of these words, usually called non-duality. But there really is no such thing as non-duality. There's no such thing as anything. So it's it's just another story that there is a message. There isn't a message.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Hi, Brendan. Yeah.
Hi there. How are you?
Yeah, good.
I came across a great word today in the dictionary, another word for illusion. And somehow I really like it, and it's bubble. I really like that. Bubble. Because, of course, illusion isn't born, and so therefore it can't die. So there's something about bubble. You know, when you see a bubble, it just
Exactly. It's as easy as that in that sense. Yeah. But of course there is no bubble. But yeah, and but it's a nice word in the sense of how, yeah, it just can be over like that in that sense, just completely collapse and then
disappear completely.
Absolutely.
And it was never there.
So totally never there. Yeah. So it's a good word actually, and also the individual, you could say, is living in its own bubble, so it can't see the outside in that sense.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Until it suddenly goes.
Exactly. Yeah. And the bubble just bursts for no reason at all. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start using that one, bubble.
Yeah, I haven't seen it used before, but I just came across it and I just thought, oh, it never occurred to me that it would be of the same, but it is in a sense an illusion. There's something about illusion that I think bubble's better. But, well, for me it is anyway. For me it is illusion, bubble.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, like, it's easy for the person to sort of get hung up on the words and
exactly
what is the illusion? Is it an illusion or a dream? And then to sort of work out, okay, well, how I dream at night, is it like that or this? And just sort of play this whole game with illusions and dreams and what it sort of knows of those words. But I mean, there is no dream, so it just really doesn't matter in that sense. It's just another game of trying to work that out.
Yeah. If there's 2 or 3 words around there, it's like yearning, illusion, resonance. None of them quite get it because none of them can really.
Exactly. Nothing can grasp or capture what sitting on a chair, sitting, breathing, and chatting to each other on Zoom actually is. Nothing can say that.
It's just what's happening. Everything's happening.
Totally. And just impossible to conceptualize it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say the freedom, in a sense, it doesn't need to be conceptualized.
Yeah.
This, what is, doesn't have to be conceptualized. It doesn't need a label or a word or an understanding. It just totally is what it is.
And of course, we spend our lives trying to make something different from what it is.
Well, which is also what is. So, yeah. But yeah, you could say as a story that the person seems to constantly run away from just sitting on a chair on a Zoom call, hoping for a better experience or a better insight.
And what's amazing is that's what is.
Totally, absolutely, yeah, of course. It couldn't be anything else.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan. The word easy suits you so well. I wish it were that simple for me. Well, of course you could say easy for no one. So yeah, I wish it were that simple for me really just does sum up what the person is longing for. You could say it sees the lightness or the ease, and it wants that. It desperately wants that. So it sees, you know, it romanticizes this message. It sees Izzy talking about this message and thinks, oh, I want that. I want it to be this easy, this simple. But of course, that just is another personal desire, another thing the me wants to capture and hold on to. And so in that sense, it's not easy. It's because that would almost imply, I guess, for me anyway, that someone is experiencing it being easy. So there's no sort of, I don't find it easier than before. It's exactly the same. Of course, you could say a lot of the sort of neurotic patterns might just slowly relax because there's just no one to protect, but it's just, that's totally natural. There's no one who can actually do that and relax and stop any behaviors. Yeah. So yeah, easy for no one, but there's no experience of the ease, I guess. More fluid, more relaxed, at least apparently. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is totally natural. In that sense, there's not the, you could say that the body's not under this spell of being someone, of having to be someone or be somewhere. So, which in that sense is not natural, you could say, but that is, yeah, what is appearing as that. But yeah, totally natural, totally fluid. And it's like that already, even when it doesn't feel natural. For the character in the dream, is the future predetermined? No, not in this. Well, I wouldn't say, I'd say no, not in the sense of fate. No, nothing's predetermined, nothing's written in the stars. It's total wild chaos, just this. And there's no knowing. So there's no one who knows anything. No past. There is no future. There's just this, what's appearing to happen. So yeah, this idea of future predetermination, well, already is assuming there is a future, and there just isn't.
Hi, Izzy.
Hello.
Have you had any physical, say, symptoms in the story of Izzy while the me is collapsing or something like that?
I mean, it's impossible to tell in that sense because there's no one experiencing the body. So I can't say I feel more relaxed or I feel more at ease because there just is no experience of anything. So
I'm asking not now. I mean, while in the process, in the story, while the me was collapsing or something like that.
Okay.
Is there any?
Yeah. So, I mean, in the apparent process,
yeah,
you could say there was an awakening, and there can be sort of a release, for want of a better word, of energy. So in the head or the chest, usually that's what seemed to happen here. There was a sensation of energy. I mean, it's indescribable, really, but you could just, the best word is really a release of energy in the head or the chest, which happened here, but that just is what appears to happen. You could say almost that contraction that doesn't happen, just releasing into boundless energy. But actually, that was just another experience for me, because after an apparent awakening, I then came back. So although there was this release, there was still a sense of I am, and that this happened to me, and that I had a heart opening or a third eye, or, you know, the person will conceptualize everything. So yeah, there was that experience, I'd say, but in the end, none of it is important.
Okay, so just maybe I'll be more specific. Did you experience any lightheadedness? Sure.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to make to make sure if I'm sick, or if it's because it's pleasant. It's a pleasant sensation, not something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I remember it's sort of at first was a bit weird, I guess you could say, but then I sort of got used to it. But yeah, as I say, that is just another experience. So it doesn't really have anything to do with it in that sense.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
So when the I is still there, the I want better experience. But when there is no I, is there any preference for better world? For no one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, natural preferences. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
So what's the difference? when the I want better world, and when there is no I?
So the difference the apparent difference you could say is that when I say there's preferences, it's just very natural, just very normal for this character, but there's no dependency on anything in that sense. So for me, things have to be a certain way, or I have to fulfill my preferences, or I have to get what I want. Otherwise, I won't be fulfilled, happy, peaceful, whatever. So yeah, there's preferences which are very natural, but there's no that whole idea of need. So they need to be a certain way, just completely collapses.
Thanks.
Can you tell a little bit your story of seeking? Well, to be honest, seeking is just seeking. So it can appear as anything. There's nothing special in that sense about what I was seeking or what I thought I was seeking. So yeah, in that sense, there's not really anything to say. Yeah, sorry. But of course, I think the person would want to know the history, the sort of what led up to the apparent point of liberation, so that it can copy what I did or work out what it was that helped me unlock the key. But there just isn't a key. There isn't even a door. So and of course, yeah, I was seeking all sorts of different things. But yeah, there's nothing special or different about my story in that sense. It's just seeking. Hello. The thought that perhaps causes the most suffering is that things could have been done differently in the past. Should one feel guilty about what was done in the past? Well, of course, that's really the personal experience, is that the person takes ownership of every action. So it really believes that it is in there doing everything. So of course, when that is the case, or appearing to be the case, then naturally guilt may arise, because the person then feels guilty for doing things that they really believe they have done. And then they think they feel guilty, and then that they must get rid of the guilt, and then they feel guilty for feeling guilty. And it's just this whole circle. And yeah, that just completely collapses, apparently. There is no one to feel guilty. There just is no one. And yes, in a way, you could say then the person will try to protect itself from feelings like guilt. So it will try to make everything then perfect and control its life to avoid feeling guilty, to avoid offending anyone, to avoid feeling unhappy or whatever, regret. It will then try and avoid those things by creating the perfect life and the perfect story. But yeah, that's just how the person appears to work in that loop. Thanks.
No one asked. If we compare this life with the dream, is it helpful?
There is no dream.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there's just life, you could say. So you can't compare it because there is no dream.
But when there is someone, when there is I, it's dream. The I is the dream.
I is the dream, you could say, but it's a dream. There isn't a dream. So we say that the dream of I am, but there isn't a dream. It's a word that's used for the apparent sort of response, like it's a word that you could say is used for something over there saying there feels like there's an I. So then the response is that is a dream. There is no I. But of course, there is no actual separate thing called a dream. The apparent dream, you could say, is the dream of I am. But it sort of creates for the person that this thing that there is an actual dream and that I'm in the dream and I need to stop dreaming and then I'll get out. But there is no dream.
Once I was in the dream and I woke up from the dream and I thought that it was a dream and now that this is a reality. And I thought I was dreaming, now I am awake. And then I woke up again. Dream in a dream. So in the second dream, the I in the second dream thought that he saw the first dream.
It sounds like a lot of dreams. Yes, well, yes. So you could say there can be an apparent awakening, which the person seems to sometimes survive and then claims that they have woken up and that they are now awake. But of course, you could say when the apparent dream collapses, no one wakes up. It's death in that sense. So when there's a person saying, I've had an awakening, I woke up, that's just another personal experience that the person is claiming. It's not saying that there could be an apparent glimpse, but that doesn't really happen. And so the person might survive the glimpse and then come back and say, well, I had a glimpse. So it feels as if it is the permanent thing and the glimpse is, well, that's why the word glimpse. It feels like the glimpse, it's a glimpse into another reality, or this reality that Izzy is speaking about. So in that sense, this is a complete reversal of that whole setup, because there's no person that glimpses anything.
So the I is the dream.
Totally, yeah.
As long as there is an I, it is a dream. Night dream or daydream.
There is no I, so
The feeling that there is someone, the experience of I, that there is someone.
yeah, for the I, it feels very real. It feels as an experience. It feels that there is a dream, that I am someone. And that just doesn't happen. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just there seems to be a body saying it feels that there's an I and there's a dream, and that can collapse, and that is just wholeness too, of course. And yes, you could say that's the surprise in that sense, is that when the apparent dream collapses, it's just totally obvious that there was never a dream. And actually, it's just impossible to put a mark on, well, this is when there was the dream and then the dream collapsed. This is when there was a me and then there's a no me. That's just the sort of whole black and white world that the me lives in. And it's just not as binary as that. It's not binary at all, because there's no transition from me to no me, because neither exist.
Thanks.
Thank you. There is no one in control, liberated or not. Are we just basically left at the mercy of whatever arises? Well, no, because no one is left at the mercy of, no, so that's still this idea that there is a me and then there's whatever's happening. So okay, so there's just what's happening, there's just what's appearing to happen, but it's appearing to me. So the person sort of seems to understand this, in that this is all there is, and this is, maybe it can get as far as understanding that, and okay, sitting on a Zoom call chatting is all there is, sure, and I'm in that and I'm experiencing that and it's happening to me. So no, there's no one experiencing what's happening, there's just what's happening, what's appearing to be happening. And yes, in a way, the left at the mercy sort of is a little bit like the me's sort of, it hears this and thinks, well, I'm not in control, I can't do anything, poor me, I just have to suffer through whatever comes up. And yeah, that would be the experience of the person, to have to bear life somehow, to have to make it through life and what happens, because it's too painful. What arises is too much. And in that sense, it totally swamps the me that doesn't exist. It totally engulfs the person, because life is too intense, you could say. I mean, there's no room for me because there isn't one already. It's just full on life for no one, totally full on. Okay, well, this is it. This is wholeness. Sitting on a Zoom call, breathing, listening is everything. This is all there is. There's nothing else. Whole and complete, exactly as it is. Nothing has to happen. Nothing has to change or be realized. Okay, so there's another meeting this Sunday at 11 a.m. It'll be the same link. So thanks everyone for coming. I might see some of you then.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Izzy.
Thanks,
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.